Ever pondered over the phrase standard deviation and its significance in the world of statistics? Well, today we're going to simplify this concept and uncover its applications in everyday life. Standard deviation in its most basic form is a measure of how spread out numbers are in a set of data. Imagine having a bag of marbles. Some are small, some are medium-sized, and some are large. Now, if someone asks you about the size of the marbles, you could say they vary. But that doesn't tell them much, does it? That's where standard deviation comes in, providing a precise measure of just how much the sizes vary. To understand it better, picture a group of friends who have just run a race. Some are fast, some are slow, and some are in between. If you were to find the average time it took them to finish the race, you'd get a good idea of their overall performance. But what if you wanted to know how much their times varied? That's where standard deviation steps in, giving you a measure of the spread of their times. So, how does one calculate standard deviation? Without getting too technical, it involves 3 steps. First, find the mean or average of the numbers. Second, subtract the mean from each number and square the result. Finally, average these squared differences and take the square root. The result is the standard deviation. Sounds complex? Well, it's simpler than it sounds, and there are plenty of tools and calculators available to help. Now that you have a better understanding of what standard deviation is, you might be wondering where it's used. It's actually a key player in many fields. For instance, in finance, it's used to measure the risk associated with different investments. A higher standard deviation means higher risk, and vice versa. In the field of health and medicine, it's used to understand the spread of data like patients' weights, heights, or recovery times. And in education, it can help us understand students' performance and the spread of their scores. To sum up, standard deviation is a measure of how spread out numbers are in a data set. It's calculated by finding the mean, subtracting the mean from each number and squaring the result, averaging these square differences and taking the square root. It's a fundamental concept in statistics with applications in fields like finance, health, and education. So next time you hear the term standard deviation, you'll know it's not just some complex statistical jargon. It's a tool that helps us understand the world around us, from the risk of investments to the spread of students' scores. It's something that, whether we realize it or not, plays a role in our everyday lives.